Welcome to All Four United with me, John Foster, MUWFC. What a show we've got lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about the 6-1 win. We're going to be talking about the 2020 year as a whole for Man United women's team. We've got a full house tonight. We've got Natalie, Ben, Matt. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, good, pal. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. This hat will be coming off soon. It's getting quite warm.
I thought I'd match you with the glasses and go Christmas themed as well.
Why not? Absolutely, why not? Now, let's start off with yourself, mate. Look, we spoke about 3 or 4 weeks ago with Sarah and Jake. Would we be top at Christmas? We're top at Christmas. Talk me through it.
Yeah, what a way. 6-1. I'm so happy. I think it's just, seeing off a beautiful year for us, only one defeat the whole year, so that's both last season and this season. We're just improving every step of the way, and it's great to see the team unity. And that's the one thing I've always said, isn't it, John? Right, we're going to score 6. We're going to score this, and we need to score it now. And I think that's just another weight off our back, and not a weight, but that's just another box ticked. Right, we're beating Arsenal. We can beat this. We can go toe to toe with this one. Bang! We can score loads of goals in a game, and it was always going to be against Bristol potentially. They're bottom of the league. It's not looking good for them, but for us, it's that little tick in the box. Right, we can score 6. I just think it's going to be even more confident, and I'm gutted that it's a break, but hopefully they come back. They see the family. A lot of them have gone away, and they'll be happy and. Come back rejuvenated to get at it again, and top of the league is where we're at, where we want to stay.
We've been quite out for it, haven't we, the last 2 or 3 weeks about getting that big score line, because that's one thing that we haven't had. And I think 6 is that big score line. I think anything more than that, yeah, brilliant. But I think 6 will be classed as a big score line. And what I love to see is when he scored our 5th goal, she was in a hurry to get that ball back, and I think they could feed off it as well. They wanted it. I'm not saying that they was listening to what we wanted, but they definitely wanted that big score line as well, didn't they? Ben, how you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Look, if someone says to you, we'll be top by Christmas, you'd have took that?
Definitely, mate, definitely. You know what I mean? Even if it was top 3 at Christmas, mate, I'd have took that at the start of the season, mate, but this is just above anything that I ever expected. I knew we could do it. I knew we had the chance, but you always thought that it'd be a bit of a challenge. I think a bit more of a challenge than what we expected so far. So I think we've done far and above better than what I thought we'd do anyway at the start of the season. But it's like the Bristol City games. Like I said, we finally found that ruthlessness. It was like, bang, there's a decent goal. Bang, there's another one. Have another one for to just send us on our way to Christmas. Merry Christmas. There's a 4th one, It's all about pinging them balls and getting the shots away. I think sometimes we're a little bit hesitant. We're trying to look for the perfect goal, just try to pass it in the back of the net. But, mate, this weekend's been absolutely fantastic.
Well, let's go on to that, Matt. Just a big shout out to the men's team as well. Obviously, they smashed 6 against Leeds. Just a great weekend for Manchester United.
Not bad, was it? Can't complain. Yeah, I think pretty much you've all kind of summed it up. Sunday was probably slow the first 20 minutes, but we got there eventually. And I think, like kind of Ben's covered, I think I was exactly the same. Did I expect us to be sat top? No. Definitely top 3. I did agree with, when people said, oh, yeah, we will be top 3. I thought, yeah, absolutely we can get up there, but to be sitting top at Christmas unbeaten in the league is satisfying, to say the least, in what's only our 2nd WSL season and our 3rd as a club. So yeah, happy days all around at the moment.
And he says you'd be happy with a top 3. For us to fall out of the top 3 now, Manchester City have got to gain 8 points on us, albeit with 1 game in hand. Look, they're not looking great at the moment. I mean, okay, they've improved as the season's gone on, but Matt, let's just stick with you. I mean, can you see Man City putting a one together and putting that extra bit of pressure on us, because they've not only got to match us, they've actually got to match us and plus an extra 5 points at least?
Yeah, I think in terms of catching us, no. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with what I said back in pre-season when I was saying it's Arsenal that's going to suffer. And I still think that's going to be the case. You know, I've said this and I've got a lot of stick off the Arsenal fans, but you know what? It doesn't bother me. But I think just the squad size, the fact that they are, you know, I mean, 17 outfield players, numerous injuries, I think they're going to struggle. I think what City do have is depth. And I think for me, I think, you know, if we're fighting for the league with Chelsea, I think that third spot is going to be a close one between City and Arsenal. But I do fully expect City to, I don't know, maybe pick up the points needed to kind of close that gap. I think they've got more attacking talent than Arsenal. They've got multiple people that can kind of, you know, make up that gap. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. In terms of us, no chance. I can't see them catching us. Even with that game in hand, you know, I'd be very surprised if they kind of, you know, kept that run going. I think we look at our fixtures in January, Chelsea and Everton. If we get through that unbeaten, then, you know, game on, isn't it, really? Pretty serious after that, then with a more straightforward running, shall we say?
Yeah, that's right. And Nat, back to yourself. You was the first one who publicly said, let's go for the title. You know, I was quite reserved and I didn't really come round until about 3 weeks ago. We've got a good chance here, you know, just keep on doing what we're doing. Nothing more, nothing less, just keep doing what we're doing. We'll have, you know, in 2021, Press will be back, she'll be fully fit, and Ivana Fuso will be fully fit and match ready, and everyone hopefully will have a bigger squad than we had in the first half of the season with all the injuries that we've had. Natalie, what was it that made you think that we could potentially stay there?
I think it was just definitely, I think we got the first 3 signings who were Fuso, Honor and Staniforth, and I thought we definitely needed that, especially Honor. You know, I mean, what she's done so far, start, it's just been amazing. But I think we definitely needed a full back. And then obviously, you know, you grew that midfield, got more in, and then obviously, you know, Fuso was a forward, and I thought we're going to get another forward. And then obviously, like Mari's just said, yeah, Russo came in, Russo was talked about, but before Russo was even talked about, Preston Heath were talked about. And I think when you talk about those names, I mean, Tobin, she is absolutely different class. And I mean, Sam MUWFC is playing for City and she's really good. If you see her, if you watch the derby, she's big, she's tall, she's strong, but and she was scoring a lot of goals for City at the start, you know, keeping them in games really, like dragging them through. And now, I'm not saying that, you know, for me, it's Tobin's, she's raised the standards, both of them in a way. And then not like MUWFC where she's dragging us through, but she's, you know, come on, girls, let's keep going. She scored that 5th, and it was an absolute beauty the way it curled. And she just was like, not bothered, don't hug me, you know. And I thought, come on, like, let's go, let's get more. And then obviously she was running off laughing at the end when she scored the 6th. But, you know, it's like, let's get more, let's do this, you know, keep shooting, keep trying, keep going. But I think, you know, it's the final 3 signings for me, the Russo, Press, Heath. That's just what's confirmed it for me. Right, we're going to win the league. And I think, you know, world-class people are throwing out in the timeline, was class or world-class, whatever. But those, when we signed those 3, I believed. And now people are saying I've made them believe. And I'm getting a bit nervous now because, you know, it's going to be... January is going to be a big one. Everton, I mean, they've beaten us in the Conte, but, you know, going to Kings Meadow, Chelsea are going to have to, whether they play their 2 games in hand, because that's what I keep seeing. Oh, well, we've got 2 games in hand. We've got 2. Yeah. But points on the board matter more. You know, you can't say, oh, I've got 2 games in hand. You've got to win your games in hand. And I think we'll potentially play them before they play any games in hand or whatever. And I think we've got to go there, down to London and get the points, point or 3 points. I mean, God, if we get 3 points, that's it, isn't it? But I'm excited. It's good to see. I didn't think we'd be here. I'm surprised.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, we wouldn't be disappointed if we still finish in the top 3. I wouldn't. You know, like a short term, you probably would be like for that first week or so, but then you look back and you think to yourself, oh, we're in Europe next year. You'd still take that. You know, I definitely would anyway. You mentioned Barmy Heath and MUWFC, and there's been this little contest on Twitter I've seen over the past week saying, oh, MUWFC has been the best American player to come across, and some people saying Tobin. For me, I think the difference is Tobin's lifted everyone's game, whereas MUWFC, she's quality from what I've seen of her, which isn't much, but I have seen a few of her highlights this season, and she has done well. Of course she has, but the rest of the City players haven't lifted up with her, whereas Man United, the reason why we're 8 points clear is because the whole team has lifted with her, and I think that's what Tobin's brought, as well as the other sidings, but that's what Tobin's done. Ben, just a few quotes that Casey come up with before the game, and I think it really showed on the game. I'm going to just read out a few points because I just thought it was classic what she was saying. Because I just think that it really reflected the game. It's like she knew exactly what was going to happen. She says that Bristol have been unfortunate, but they're good on transition, which made me think, okay, obviously they want to play quickly, get the ball to Ebony Salmon and just quickly just catch us off guard. I think that's what she was referring to there, which obviously happened. We need to focus on us, not them, and take the game to them. Well, obviously we did that quite well. And the last one, she said, patience is a key. We need good movement, move the ball quickly. We need to be bright and clever in the final third and need to take our opportunities. Now, you can say that in every game, but I think this is the first game where we've actually seen all those key points together. We've been moving the ball quickly. We've been very progressive in moving forward. We showed urgency and we was clinical. Scoring 6 goals. Ben, I mean, what were your thoughts as before we go into the detail of each goal? What were your thoughts regarding the match as a whole?
As I said before, I think it's finally we've had that little bit of ruthlessness. We've added that to our game. It's like we've gone out there, we've gone, let's just cement this top place, just put it out of doubt. I know that we've was going to be top at Christmas anyway, but just put it out of doubt. Just have a good, nice win. Send everyone home for Christmas. Absolutely buzzing with joy. I do think that Casey has drilled into the players absolute 100% positive thinking and belief. And I think another thing of Casey, I was going to try and say this the other week, but I thought I best not. But I'm going to say it this week. I don't think there's a better, not man management, because man management's the wrong word, a better player management. I don't even know what word I'm looking for, but I'll use man management. There's not a better man management or man manager in the women's game than Casey Stoney, I don't think. I think she knows exactly how to pick each player up or put an arm around the shoulder or give them that extra little boost of confidence. I just don't see that in very many coaches in the WSL, especially teams that are less than 3 years old or coming up to 3 years old, man. I just think it's about time she got a little bit more credit and than what she does get. All I keep saying is all I keep hearing is different managers are all this lot, getting praise and But I just think Casey, it's about time someone turned around and said, "Look at the job Casey's done in less than 3 years. Take us from a team that wasn't even a team to winning the championship, to finishing top 4 last season, and then being top at Christmas the season after." I think she deserves a lot more credit than what she's getting.
We touched on it last week on where Matt Johnson was on and Yehuda was on, and I put a few clips on Twitter of all of us just saying something positive about Casey Stoney. I think 99% of the fan base would definitely think that. And I think, as Natalie rightly said last week, WSL was forced to stand up and recognise what Casey's done this season, because not only has she won the average teams, has won Arsenal, won City on penalties, come back from 2-0 down against City. And I think, as you say, more people can respect it, but even though they don't want to admit it, I'm sure they will be respecting it now and taking note. You can't get halfway through the season, be 8 points above City. And I keep mentioning City because if you finish above City, in my eyes, we'll finish in Europe. At some point, they are going to stand up and they have to recognise that. Moving on to the game, guys. Starting lineup, Matt. Mal Hardy lad, and this is not for the first time when we play one of the so-called easier teams. We play our captain alongside Jackie and Ella. Do you reckon that's what's in Casey's mind? The easier teams, the so-called easier teams, we don't need Hayley and we need more creativity, maybe?
Difficult one for me. I think because I mean, the day of that game, I looked at the lineup and I did say to a few people, it was quite, I thought, harsh based on Hayley's last game, gets the winner and scores an assist. But then I think previous shows, I've talked about, for me, Katie is better further forward. I think, if we're bringing on Katie, that's absolutely fine, like you say, against the smaller teams for creativity. But I think for me, she needs to be pushed higher up. I think, there was some stats put out there before, wasn't there, about sort of, her passing and her chances created and sort of a set play, which is obviously, what she excels at. And I think for me, if she's playing against those smaller teams, then, she's got to be further forward. And like you said, if we're looking for creativity, Katie's the kind of the person for that. But I have kind of said, our midfield, and I'll say it again, picks itself at the minute in terms of sort of Hayley, Jackie, and Tooney. I think it's difficult because obviously Staniforth came in, she wasn't fully fit, she came back, she got injured. Katie obviously was ill and is just kind of getting back to her best. But I do think sort of going into the new year, it's going to be massively important to kind of rotate and utilise our squad. I know some people talked on Twitter about, it might have been Hayley rested with games coming up. And I think, that's going to be massively important. Look at January, we've got the league games, we've got the FA Cup coming up as well at the end of that month. We've got to get players fit and ready and hopefully, find a balance. But yeah, in terms of, like you say, the smaller teams and maybe games where might need that little bit more of sort of skill and quality, then obviously, yeah, I suppose you can put Katie in there in a sort of more advanced role, kind of like we saw Sunday. Yeah,
I just agree with everything that you said there. Moving on to yourself now, before we go on to the goals, let's talk about Ebony Salmon and Ari Palmer contribution to the game, because I thought Ebony was fantastic. I really do. It was how dangerous she was doing. But Natalie, you just talk a little bit about that game regarding what you thought that those two former United players brought to the Bristol City game.
Oh, I mean, Ebony for me is absolutely different class. I think she could still hold it in this team, to be honest. I'm disappointed that she left when she left. I've not made everyone sort of knows that what I think about Ebony. Probably the whole team know what I think about Ebony, and I just think she's come on though now a lot from when I was watching her when she was at that first year. For me, she's a lot more clinical, can take chances. She causes problems all the way through, and it was a bit worrying, to be honest, to be seeing because she's got pace to burn, but she was just running past Amy, getting past Millie as well. I mean, I've seen some people blaming Mary. I know we talked about goalkeepers, but Mary gets in it a few times. Yeah. There was one massive save that she made when, it was probably going to go into the other corner, and she made a big, massive save, pushed it away. I mean, she saved the first one. It's just that they didn't get back on the line to defend it, or someone didn't get in there challenging Ebony. But for me, she's a quality player. It's highly likely that, Bristol will probably go down now that the nice fans and everything. But, the way they're getting battered all the time, then they'll be off. And Ebony will be free. And I'm not saying, definitely going to come back to United, or we should definitely go back to her. But I mean, I would want her to come to us again. But obviously it's not me. I'm not the manager, and you got Russo in there. You're talking Preston Heath. There's talk that they might stay. I was talking about strikers that might come in and hearing different names. I mean, I've seen someone saying today that we might be monitoring Caroline Graham Hansen, and she's an absolutely world-class striker. So, is Ebony going to come back? Probably not, but I think she is an absolutely quality player, and I think it's sort of shown that there is not weaknesses, but there's stuff there to be worked on. We allowed her time and time. What she's going to do. Like she said, good on the transition, and I suppose you can't stop pace, but I don't know, you'd like to see a bit of a plan, more for that. Chelsea or other teams gonna do that against us. So I think I'd like to see. I don't know, just see what happens. Because when we play against more pacey strikers out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. 30 people watching, please hit that thumbs up. button on YouTube, guys. Thank you very much. A few people in the comments. Thank you. John Fry, Sophie, Marty's back, Marie, Gary, Martin's just come in. Thank you. Loads of people that I recognise week in, week out. Thank you very much. We haven't got loads to talk about, guys, so I just want to use this opportunity. Last job before Christmas. Anything that you want to put in the comments, we'll read out. Ben, let's talk about these goals then. So I'm glad that I've come to you first because Leah Galton scored the first goal. I know how highly you rate Leah Galton. One to the left foot. I mean, what a strike that first one was. There's so many goals. I don't know if you can remember them all, Ben. But basically, it was outside of the box, left foot, brilliant.
That was an absolute howitzer of a shot, that, mate. And it's just like this is everything that I'm saying. It's backing up Leah Galton as the best player in the league, mate. You know what I mean? Just the way she took her 2 goals, man. But especially that first one, wow. It's what you call a bullet of a hit. That. She picks it up outside the area, doesn't she? And I think she shrug off a couple of players, if I remember correctly. Was it one? Yeah, I knew she shrugged off someone and she just unleashes it straight into the back of the net, mate. That was proper power, and that was hit with, I think, with a proper feeling, proper drive that one into the back of the net. I just think, as a whole, Leah Galton this season is just going from strength to strength. She had a bit of a slow start, like we said, but this season, mate, as it's getting towards the business end now, before the Christmas break, she's been absolutely superb.
Well, we'll talk a little bit later about potentially our player of 2020. I think she's going to be a contender. And as for me, I've always said that Leah Galton's a player that excites me the most. I've stood by that for about 18 months now. Usually, I mean that when she picks up the ball, you know something's going to happen. And I usually mean about like dribbling towards defenders or creating an opportunity or getting inside the box. But it just goes to show recently that she can still bang in the goals as well. Matt, I mean, your thoughts on that first goal? I mean, obviously, it calmed the nerves. It kind of got us off to on the right foot. But Leah Galton's goal was top class.
Yeah, I think, like I touched on before, it was probably the first 15, 20 minutes, prior to that goal was a little bit slow, like you said, possibly nervy, obviously based on last season. And purely the fact that obviously, teams have been putting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 past Bristol this year. But I think, Ben's covered it well there. She gets the first goal, it kind of calms the nerves. But for me, the second goal, now I only saw her interview earlier on where she said it was actually a cross.
Yeah, she should have said that.
Well, I mean, if it was mine, listen, I'd be like, no, I meant it, but, fair play. I think, we talked about it last time we were on in our last match reaction. And of course, I briefly put in the tweet for you guys on Sunday about how it just arrows across the goal. And, I think that's why sometimes, I'm convinced she does mean it. I'm not having that was a cross because we've seen her do it before, haven't we? She gets wide to the byline or near the byline, think of the Everton away game last year, the last one, obviously the foot got cancelled, and she just got this, I don't know, like this power and precision, hasn't she? But yeah, I think once she got us going and we got that goal, I think it was great. And then I'm going to talk up Tobin's goals as well. I like the one she kind of nutmegged the defender, turned inside. But I think the other one for me, I was having a conversation on Twitter with somebody called Omar, and I think just to hit that ball first time. If you watch that ball dips a lot, but she still places it where the keeper can't reach. And I think that's the same. The City goal was exactly the same. It's literally inch perfect in that corner. I think the power, but just to be able to hit that ball first time, she's literally come in inside on her left foot, hit it. A lot of power, it dips, and the keeper doesn't stand a chance. I just think, it capped a great performance. We needed those first couple of goals to go in. And then after that, it was kind of just how many could we kind of put away, really, for me.
Matt, would you say that's the goal of the season so far? Or have you seen many better? Because to hit it, like you say, first time with power and precision right at the top corner, outside the box.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a way out as well. I'd say at least probably, as a guess, about 25, 30 yards. But I'm going to say yes, I'm going to give her that because although the City one kind of, it meant more, I think obviously she was in the box for that and it was just pure power and again, great placement. But I think just based on technique for that one, just the skill to be able to hit it first time without, it going wrong or it spinning off or whichever. And then I think just to get the power, the precision and just the accuracy as well. Like I say, 9 times out of 10, most people will probably struggle with that. But obviously, you know, Tobin, elite, the best of the best. She's been doing that for years, and I think to see that come into our team, I think that's something we might have been lacking over previous years. You know, we've played some good football, but I think somebody just to be, you know, whacking a ball outside the edge of the box. Sometimes we don't need to be, you know, fancy football work it in. It just requires that clinicalness. And I think with Tobin this year, you know, that's a couple of times now she's done that and that type of goal. But yeah, I think that Bristol one, certainly, like I say, first time for me, I'm going to give that as probably the best one so far this season. What about you?
Yeah, 100%. I'll put that down because, like you just said, it was a thunderbolt. It was rocket, the one against City, but it was just power. Well, it was power and precision, but I think the distance and the technique would be harder with the one that she just scored. So, so for me, the one that she's just scored was probably better for me. But I mean, that one against City was more meaningful. So I think it was better. I think it was a better technique, the one that she just scored. Oh, yeah. He's gone somewhere. But I think it was a better technique what she just scored. But maybe the other one was obviously more meaningful against City when you're not 4-1 up already. Ben, there's a question on screen for yourself, mate.
I know, I've just seen that, mate. Yeah. Mate, it's good to see her back on the pitch first and foremost, man. You know, it's been a while. It's been a while. I'm glad she's over the injury. I think if she'd have scored, me, I think I'd have had to do something better than have shaving the beard off. I think it'd be something different, wouldn't it? But then again, I could never top that ever again, man. That was a special moment in time, that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I've got Martha Harris to actually talk about. So let's just talk about it then while that conversation's on screen. I was really happy just to see the fact that she would be in the match day squad. I think it was leaked a few days before Sunday anyway that she would be involved. So I was putting some tweets out. Lovely to see her back. I think she's just what we need in regards to getting that extra strength in depth in the full-back position. We know what job she can do. We saw it last season. It was this time last season pretty much where we went 5 games unbeaten. I think we had 5 clean sheets on the trot and she played in 4 of those clean sheets. We know what she can do. She may not be first choice just yet, purely because Kirsty Smith's playing so well and Owen's playing so well. But she's just great just to have that option there. And you know, even Casey said herself that she was really happy with her work levels and quality in the first game back. So for me, great to see her back, and I'm sure you feel the same, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, and we'll come to this in a bit, I actually had a question about kind of our fullbacks, but yeah, I think like Ben said, and like you said, great to see her back. I think we've had injuries obviously this season. We've had injuries where it's affected the back 4. And it's been difficult. You know, we've seen Leah at left back. We've seen various people, shifted about. But I think at one point we had Martha, Kirsty Smith and Abby all out at the same time. And I think, slowly get them back now is going to be good. I always like, and I've always said, it's good competition for places. I think, it's really interesting when we see, obviously, the kind of Kirsty Martha battle for the right back spot. Or even the left back spot, obviously, because last year we were, short on fullbacks. But I think, good to see her back. Hopefully now she can kind of build on this fitness over sort of this break, and then obviously look forward to the new year and see her challenging for that spot.
Yeah, John Foy, thank you for your question. Is she learning from Tobin? I'm guessing you're about Leah Galton there. Yeah, I think everyone's going to be learning off everybody in that squad at the moment. Obviously, we know what Tobin can do, but let's not forget how good Leah Galton was before Tobin came as well. So, yeah, I would definitely say everyone's taking something from everybody this season. Moving on to the second goal then. So, Mia Turner, another headed goal. Great to see. Centre-back scoring again. She had other opportunities in the game. Amy Turner had opportunities in the game. Ona had one shot as well, I believe. Let's come to yourself, Ben. How nice is it to see that goals are coming from all over the pitch, especially our centre-backs this season?
Really nice, mate. Really nice. I think that's what we need. Goals from all over the pitch. Everybody chipping in. But it's great to see centre halves getting headers. I think Millie Turner in the air and Amy Turner especially as well. I think we should be getting far more goals from in the air because with Tobin Heath's deliveries into the box, mate, and I think we should be scoring at a few more headers in my personal view. But it's always nice to see the defenders chipping in, and if we should get at least 5 goals, Millie Turner, and that'd be great. I think as a defender, I always say as centre halves, you're looking at least 4 or 5 goals a season, surely, especially when you've got somebody of Heath's quality whipping the crosses into the box, mate. I just think it's just nice to see, and I think also though it's good to see that we've actually having a bit of movement inside that box. Sometimes last season as well, I think we were struggling with a little bit of movement, and the ball wasn't clearing the first player, or the movement wasn't as good. But this season, the movement is absolutely brilliant, and then Heath's balls into the box, mate, from the corners is just absolutely first class.
And she's not the only one that can deliver those.
Well, yeah, that's true. Leah Galton as well, man. But
yeah,
I'm just impressed with the way Heath crosses the football, mate. It's just one of them. And I've always big Leah up for crossing the football, but there's just something about that extra whip that she gets on the ball, Turban Heath. It's just, I think, creates a whole lot of problems for the back line.
Yeah, 100%. Matt, anything you want to say, Matt, regarding the centre backs this season getting on the score sheets? Abby McManus obviously early on in the season. It's got to be down to the deliveries, but it's also nice to see that attacking intent as well, isn't it, from them?
Yeah, I think it's kind of, for me, it's helped. I feel, going back to the Turner and Turner partnership. I think you only have to look at stats, and I think Millie and Amy have got the highest aerial duels won, things like that. So I think it's kind of like Ben said, it'd be great if they could get a few goals between them this season. I think it's kind of it's shown, hasn't it? We've done okay defensively. We're still top, so that's a bonus. But I think it's just what you get with those two, don't you? I think we've all kind of seen them since season 1. Obviously, Abby got injured; she's lost the place. It will be interesting to see, if she regains that in the new year, and whether Amy shifts to full back. We'll have to see. That's kind of something we can fall back on. But I think, if we can get, whether it's a free kick, whether it's a corner, just more from our set plays. And I think Casey's talked about this. We need to start now making different opportunities. Whether it's a set play, whether it's a corner, because it has been a while since we've kind of scored from a corner. In fact, I can't even remember the last one. But it's good, to see their capabilities shine through. I think both capable of heading the ball, both very good in the air. So it was pleasing to see Millie get on the end of a cross in again.
Yeah. Before I move on to Nat's thoughts on Martha Harris coming back, which will link into John Fry's reception, I thought it was brilliant. I've got to be honest, I was cheering at the screen when she was coming on anyway. But then when I heard the reception that she got, I just thought that's brilliant, just what we want. Just want to read a few comments now. So, John Fry, Amy T needs to get on the goal scoring sheets soon. Absolutely. Thought Ona was fabulous. I think Ona's always fabulous. I think she never gives more than like a 7 or 8 out of 10 performance. And don't forget those first 2 games of the season. Play with the match on at least one of those. She's really got into the team really well. The team seemed to have more energy. I agree. What did I miss? We've basically just been talking a bit about. Thanks for joining again, Brown Knight, by the way. Basically, we've just been discussing all 6 goals that we scored against Bristol and how great it's been to be top of the league at Christmas. Thank you, 18 people watching. Can we get 15 likes? That's actually gone up. There's more than 18 people watching, so please hit that like button. Natalie, Martha Harris coming back. Just what were your emotions when you saw her?
Yeah, it's good to see her back, because I know the start of last season she had like a knee brace on, but obviously she played most of last season, and then obviously this season is I think a lot worse potentially what she had. I don't know what she had. It's something to do with her knee again, whether it's the same knee, I don't know, but she was out for a long-term absentee for quite a while, so it's good to see her back. It's good to see, she looks slick, she looks trim, she looks ready, she looks prepared, and it's good to see. Yeah, she looks happy. everyone went wild on Twitter, Instagram. Everyone was retweeting. Everyone's, back again and all this, and it's good to see. And it's just good. I was looking at an old picture of our team in the championship, and literally, bar a handful, it's the same team, and it's just. People like Martha, Hanson. I know, like we was talking about them all. We were talking about Millie's goal. It's just, it's building upon championship players, and they weren't even championship players, though. You know what I mean? But it's taking those players that are in that championship, developing and growing, and you don't see it as much. I don't think in the women's game you see teams, getting 10 in, 10 out, and that kind of thing. Whereas I think with us, we've had that core, and I think that's what's really helped us, and that's why we are where we are. And then we've obviously added in the players and grown in. But I feel like even when they say it, it's the family. When you come in here, this is the bond that they already have, and people just join that bond, and the bond grows stronger. And it's what you want to see in any football team. Teams developing, getting better, progression, and but it's still good that you've got that Man United core to the end. And, God, if we win this trophy, it's going to be, remember a couple of years ago, girls, remember when we did this, remember when we did that, remember when we lifted it versus Lewis, and, we did this, and you had this what happened last time, why are we doing it like this? And it's just, but it's good that you can have those players that were there, that won it in the first year, and if we win it again, it's just going to be special. I can't wait.
That's that last point there. It links in nicely. We're all members of the Barmy Army on this show tonight. And you had some lovely pictures with the players when we lifted that championship trophy. If anybody wants to become a member of the Barmy Army, Nat, can you just tell them what they need to do? And Matt, would you mind just talking about like some of the merchandise that we sell? I'm going to put you on big screen because I was going to send a tweet out, so no one wants to be watching me sending a tweet on my phone because it looks intense. So tell you the way.
Right, I'm the chairperson of the Barmy Army. I'm on here. Thanks to Ben who runs this channel, who puts us on here, puts us, the women's voice out, and you see my shirt, Katie Zellum, you see the scarf, Barmy Army. But we're always, and I always say it at the end, so I'm going to say it now, and I want you to listen, I want you to get involved. Barmy Army MUWFC, all the socials, the YouTube, your Instagram, and your Twitter. Get onto them, DM them, message them, even on a when they do the podcast tomorrow, message them and say, I want to become a member. And all that'll happen is flash through your email, they'll send you a form depending on where you live. And there's membership there, there's free, there's paid. There's benefits to the paid one, obviously, as well. But everything from merch, scarves, it all goes back into the Barmy Army and growing it and getting people on buses to go and support the team down in London. We've just talked about Kings Meadow. We want to get, if fans are back, loads of us there. So, the girls appreciate the support. You hear it all the time. If you listen to some of the United podcasts, the way Mary talks about it, getting that extra buzz off the fans, and when they then say that, it makes me buzz, and then people say I make them buzz. So it's just the energy, the passion. We need it. We need people supporting them girls because Man United are going to win the league. That's how close we are. We talked about 8 points clear of Man City. I mean, come on, guys. Man United, it's one. Let's do this. Let's win the league. And I can't wait till we're all back, till you come and see us, till we're all standing together and singing. And, even if it's you're from London or from wherever and your local team, come down because we'll be there still. And if you're in Manchester and you want to do an away trip, let us know. Message us, Barmy Army Travel. But, get onto the Barmy Army MUWFC for membership because we can help you in every such way.
Thank you, Nat. And Matt, just what merchandise is available and how do we go about buying those? I'm like the model today. I've got the bit of a giveaway. I've got one there and I've got one there. But what else is available, Matt? What can we get?
Yeah, so basically we have a Teespring store. So if you go, as Nat said, onto our Twitter or our Instagram, we've actually got in our bio the links to both of them. So Teesprings is where we have most of our things. We've got T-shirts, we've got mugs, we've got face masks. We've actually, last Monday, we released a new set. There's 6 new T-shirts. We've got Ona, we've got Lucy Stan, we've got Tobin, We've got Kirsty Hansen, Kirsty Smith. So yeah, I think, shout out to Mark for those. Mark helps me with sort of designs, and like Nat said, it does go back into the club. So for example, like she's touched on, travel, you supporting the merch, not only supporting the team and sort of, the players, but we can look at things, like last year, for example, there was one game, and we were able to reduce the bus for members and offer it half price, and we ran 2 buses for the first time down to an away game. And it's things like that, a lot of people kind of, you might wonder, what happens. Well, Nat's touched on it. It's all back in, it's for the team, it's for the players, and, every little bit helps. Players love seeing, I know, Reading last year, I remember we were all afterwards in the bar, and some of the players are walking past, and Lauren James spotted a T-shirt with Natalie. I know Leah Galton's done it as well, and I think it's just good. There's some really good merchandise. Them scarves, for example, are ideal. Freezing at the minute. We've got face masks, which we're all going to need. When we go back. Another thing that people like to do is decorate their scarf with the pin badges. Now, pin badges you'll have to DM Barmy Army, but again, if anyone's got any questions and anything, or they're struggling to find links, drop us a message, or drop one of us a message at our personal account, and we can redirect you. But I've got to say, the pin badges as well, there's more or less every single player now. And I know at the minute there's a deal where if you buy 6, there is a discount on that. So again, get your merchandise, and like Nat says, hopefully when fans are back and we can get running buses, we can do things like that. I know for the money put in at the minute, it does subsidise some of the memberships. So, international fans currently now, there's a free membership. So again, that's something we've been able to do with your support. So yeah, if you can get involved with that and you want to do that, and the memberships as well, at Barmy Army MUWFC, Teesprings as well, just check our bios, and yeah, just go from there. Great Christmas present, I must add.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that, Matt. Okay, so I'll just have some fun in the last 15, 20 minutes of the show. What are our favourite moments? So, like, favourite goals, favourite results, favourite players, who's been like of 2020, not just 2021 season, just like for the whole of 2020. Best off-field moments. So, things on Twitter, social media, podcasts, all this kind of stuff. So, Ben, we'll start off with yourself regarding maybe goals and results. Sorry to put you on the spot because I know there's been so many, but favourite goals, not necessarily just the one, just one to stick out to you.
Probably the most recent ones, mate. Where we've looked a bit more ruthless, man. That's pleased me the most. Pinging goals in from all over the pitch. Everyone was speaking about Tobin Heath's goal earlier on. That's just unbelievably good, unreal technique. Games, I'm going to pick 2 games that I thought we showed real strength and character, and that was after the Liverpool defeat in the Conti Cup, and that was the Tottenham game and the West Ham game, back-to-back away games, I believe it was, down in London, especially the West Ham one, where last season we struggled a little bit, and then we didn't perform that day at all for me, really. But to come off that Liverpool defeat and to show strength in character, to come back and have 2 back-to-back away wins down south, they're the 2 matches that please me the most. They're the 2 matches that's got me believing that this team can go all the way. In other years, we may have possibly struggled to pick ourselves back up a little bit. But the West Ham one really pleased me because last season away from home, it was a bit bitty. It was a bit, wasn't as fluid as a performance. And this season we've gone there. We wrote a wrong. We've bounced back with two wins away from home in London, and I think that's just showed the real strength for the team. I think that's what's pleased me the most, and they're their 2 best performances of 2020, if I could be greedy enough to.
We've got a few comments. I'll read those out shortly with people who are watching whose theirs are. I'm going to say, even though it was a draw, I'm going to say the Chelsea one, first game of the season. I think I cheered that equalising goal as much as I cheered any winning goal. And it's funny that I say these things because one of my favourite moments of last season was the loss at the Etihad. I just enjoyed the whole atmosphere, even though we lost. It was only a 1-0 loss. This year, I'm choosing like a draw. But I just feel that to draw against Chelsea, the champions, on the opening game of the season really just showed what we was able to do this year. And even if that draw happened last week or next week, I still think it's a very good result against probably the top team in England. And for me, I just think it's very, very symbolic, and it showed where we did something in that game that we couldn't do last season. We could get a point against the big three in a league match. So for me, I would choose that one. As for goals, I'd love to see them all back because I'm sure we're going to miss some out. But I think I liked one that John Fry mentioned, the Ellen Toone goal against Arsenal, just because of the build-up. It involves 4 players who all done something fantastic to build up to that. But I think it's hard not to choose one of the Tobin Heath goals as well. So that's where I stand on it. Natalie, what about your favourite goals and results of 2020?
I think my favourite goal has to be Tobin versus City. I mean, you can't look beyond that. I just, for what it meant, kissing the badge against City, coming back. It was, loved that goal. That is so amazing. Obviously, Tooney's, that was the winning goal, so it's that. But I think one of my favourites, just taking away that pass, just looking at it straight, like, as the goal it was, Leslie's versus West Ham, the header. That was absolute class. I think it's just epitomised everything. God, we miss her really loads, and the way she just leaps in the air. And then I think it was Leah's cross, and it was just, right on her head, leaping up in the air above all the West Ham fans, players. And you see the still of her like towering above this West Ham player and just like heading it down into the goal, and Leah in the far stick, and then her and Lee hugging at the end, and it's just, that's probably my favourite goal if you take away all the City and all that. But yeah, the Tobin ones are fantastic as well, and I just can't wait for. I know we keep saying it, but we're onwards and upwards. When Leslie comes back, I think Leah's on form, and if Leslie can come back into the same kind of form that she was in, I think them two linking up is going to get goals all the time. Because I think we're crossing a lot in the box, and someone like Leslie on the end of them will be eating it up, I think.
Yeah. That brings me nicely on to Matt. I mean, I want to ask you the same questions because obviously it's a fun subject to talk about. Obviously, all the good results that we've had in 2020. But I also want to throw in there for yourself now, player of 2020 as well. So if you can remember, best goals, best results, throw in the player as well because there's quite a few to choose from.
Yeah, I think you've all pretty much covered, what I was thinking. I think the Tobin, equaliser against City, I think it just means a lot because we were not the best in the first half. I think to turn that around and kind of, test our mentality to equalise, bring that back to 2-2. I think, I'm going to say that was kind of game of the season for me so far. Goal of the season, I think Tooney's against Arsenal. We'd absolutely hammered them. I think it was about the time that we got, a ruthless kind of clinicalness, and we got there eventually. And I think player of the season, it's a difficult one. There's so many standout performances, but I'm going to be a little bit biased there. I'm going to say Tooney. And that's just based on, obviously, sort of last year to this year. I think, there's been times this season when she's popped up when we've needed something, whether that be a goal or assist or just a performance. And I think, she deserves credit. She's broken into the England team. She's kind of turned it around and, kept Katie out the team, and, Lauren as and when she's been back. And I think she's really made that role her own this season. I think, we've touched on it before. We all love Leah. I think Leah's up there as well. But yeah, I'm going to say so far, again, Jackie's been fantastic. That was a game when she was our best player. So I think, it's very close for me, but I'm going to give it to Tooney for player of the year so far for me.
Just before I move back on to Ben, Matt, there's a question on screen. Do you think Leslie will come back in the second half? But also, obviously, I know that you're a big fan of Leslie way before, she joined United as well. If she was playing for the full 2020, I would have probably voted for her. Obviously, because she's only been playing 2 or 3 months, if that, then I can't really vote for her for player of 2020. But thoughts on Leslie, and would you like to see her, and do you think she'll be back playing any games?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, you know, obviously we don't know time frame. I would have thought probably start of February to guess. I think, you know, obviously knee brace is off now. I think 3, 4, 5 weeks for fitness. You know, I think that'll probably do her the world of good. I'd like to think she could hit the ground running. You know, she got quite a serious injury last year in America. She broke a leg. She came back from that like she'd never been away. So I think in terms of starting where she left off, you know, I wouldn't be too worried. In terms of that, I think, yeah, you know, if she comes back, she hits the ground running, then that's only gonna, you know, it's gonna benefit us. I think we're in the, I don't know if it's fortunate situation, but obviously we're out the Conti Cup, and I'm looking at Chelsea's January, and I think, you know, they've got Champions League, they've got Conti Cup, they've got FA Cup, and 2 league games to catch up. They're pretty much going to be playing Sunday, Wednesday, I'd assume all of Jan and most of Feb. So I think having Leslie back, Kristen's got to obviously, you know, regain her fitness as well. I think it looks positive for the new year, you know, and I think absolutely, like you said, you know, she will pick up where she left off. I think we'll see, you know, more goals and hopefully, you know, more better, you know, clinicalness in front of goal as well.
Ben, your thoughts on player of 2020?
Leah Galton, player 2020 for me, man. I just think she like epitomises everything that a Manchester United player should be for me. Yes, fair enough. I get the point that she had a bit of a slow start to this season, but as a whole, as a whole of 2020, as a whole, I just don't think there's a player that's excites me as much as Leah Galton does. You know, especially going forward, running at players, taking full backs on, either going on the outside or coming on the inside and getting a shot away, or going on the outside, as I said, getting a cross in the box. I just think, as I said, I don't think there's a better player in the WSL this season. I really don't. And I know Tobin Heath's a big fan's favourite, and she has every right to have a shout as well. But just something about Leah Galton, man, that, you know, if I was in the stadium, I wouldn't be sat down. I'd be stood up. She'll get me off the edge of my seat at home. You know, I'm like jumping up and down on my bed, banging my head on the ceiling. You know, just when she starts running at players, I'm like, go on then, go and have her. I'm just like, I go into prime nat mode and I start bouncing around all over the place. But I just think it'd be very hypocritical of me if I didn't say Leah Galton after I've said, especially in our last show, that I think she is our being the best player in the WSL this season. So for me, player 2020, I'm going to say Leah Galton.
Yeah, Ben. Before I go on to Nat, I'm going to say mine, and I agree with you. Ben. And it was a tough choice because I'm thinking of the whole of 2020, and she was out, I think, in part of January, and she came back against Everton, didn't she, where we won 3-2. But I think that first game back where we did play Everton and we did win, it just showed how much we missed her. And to score those 2 goals, it's 3-0 up. She gets subbed off. We end up conceding 2 goals. You know, we win the game 3-2. That was like last season. That was our last game last season. And then with what she's doing this season, I do think Tobin Heath is close, but obviously she's only been playing since September or whenever the season started. So for me, I think I'm going to choose someone who's been with us for the whole of 2020. But if people want to vote for Tobin, I can see why. There's people in the comments saying Ona, you know, I can see why. Ella, you know, Matthew said it, I can see why. People, I don't know if people mentioned Jackie just yet, but
yeah,
you know, she's been fantastic as well all season and most of last season as well. So there's so many to choose from. But yeah, I'm going to go for Galton on this one. I really am. But it could be anyone there. Natalie, who are you leaning towards?
You can't make me choose, John. You can't make me choose. I know it's like all for United, and I love everything on this channel. You know, I'm going to talk about the men and the women, but you know, Barmy Army are doing a poll, best of the season so far. So you know, definitely go and check that out because you can vote for your favourite. So, for me, it's a tough one. If we're going to say the year, it's Leah, 100%. 2020, Leah, because of what she did from January to December. She's been our best player. It's been hard. And she was injured for probably January onwards-ish. and then came back in March. Then obviously it was shut down. But Leah just from being that injured and coming back. But I think potentially for this season, it's going to be hard. But I'm going to say Jackie. Just for this season so far, just from August to December, for me, standout midfielder, dictating that in there. I think for me as well, we showed how good Jackie was when she came off with that concussion. And, you know, we didn't look really the same. But Leah saved us. Leah scored first, but we didn't really look the same without Jackie, anchor of the team, 100%. But yeah, you know, we shout out for honour the fact that she's 21, Spanish international, only played one game, bear in mind, for Spain, but then come to a different country, didn't speak a word of English, and she absolutely teared it up a lot of these games. And, you know, I heard City fans sort of going, oh, well, Georgia Stanway, but she come back to Georgia, didn't she? And then what did Georgia do the next game? Nothing. So that's what I'm saying. To me, honour's up there as well. Namrata said mine, and I can't go against Jackie for me this season.
I think that was all fair comments, and they've all got points, haven't they? You know, your more stated facts of why there's so many good quality players in that team, and that's why we've ended the year top of the league, because there's so many good players, not just one or two anymore. We are talking about, well, we went through it a few weeks ago, didn't we? Who are world class, and I think we named about 10 of our players who either are world class or could be world class, and that just shows how far we've come in this short amount of time. What are our best off-field moments then? So, like some moments either on social media, interviews, or this, that, and the other. I'm going to start us off. I want to mention Ella Toon and Millie Turner during the first lockdown in March to August. I just think, I mean, if they hadn't won anybody over, what you saw on their social media accounts over the time where we needed them the most, you know, they would have won you over there. Whether it be little TikTok videos of them singing, whether it be throwing water on each other, just genuinely just having fun. That little quiz where they had to like know each other the most, where it was being asked each other's favourite moments or favourite food or something like this. Everything that those guys did over lockdown, I just thought was amazing, and I think the club was really good during lockdown, to be honest. But for me, I think those moments where Millie and Ella just made me laugh so much, that for me has stood out. Nat, yourself, off-field moments, favourite ones?
So many. It's hard, I can't say, because for me, my favourite off-field moments usually when we're there. And obviously we haven't been there. It's hard because I think it means so much to me. I mean, it means so much to everyone, but it means so much to me, definitely seeing them at the end of games, and that's just kept me going, really, that thought of being back. But, you know, the podcast, little Google podcast things were good. You know, during lockdown, they did one with Casey, they did one with Millie, Tooney and Jackie. And I think that's what's really improved, actually. Before games, it's been a lot better. The content's improved on, you know, the Man United socials. So for me, I'd say those little Google Hangouts were the best things. Yeah,
that were good. And I still look back at them now. I still go into YouTube or go into MUTV and go back and watch some of those. I think I posted something else actually where Millie, Ella, and Jackie was all being interviewed, and you saw Jackie groaning, and where she was basically squatting a tree trunk. That's basically what she was saying. She was basically saying that this is how I'm doing my exercises at home, and Millie Turner was just shouting out, "Squatting a tree trunk," and it just cracked me up. So yeah, again, another good moment. Matt, yourself?
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered it. Like you, I've enjoyed kind of, you know, seeing what they've kind of got up to lockdown. I think the ones where they've had to get to know each other. You know, I think they had one of Mary and Abby. They've had Millie and Ella doing things. You know, I think they've been good. And obviously the recent podcast, you know, I enjoyed the one with Mary the other day. We've had the Amy Turner one, you know, one with Siobhan as well. And I think it's just been good, especially like Nat said, you know, we've not been there. I think over sort of these last few months, we've needed really content. And I think it's been great that, you know, the club have kind of given us some bits. I mean, for me, obviously, and I know Natalie as well, we always want more. So we're always like, come on, give us more, give us more, give us more. But I think so far, listen, it's improved since kind of season 1 in terms of the content. So, but yeah, I think just overall, yeah, seeing the podcast, the fun side, the stuff to get up to off the field, the messing about, the winding each other up. Ivana's dancing as well. I know some people may not have seen that. I posted a video of that over summer when she was doing that and said, oh, that has to be a celebration. So I'm going to be having words on my back and let's see some bit of a samba dancing. But yeah, I think it's just been good, to kind of keep us entertained whilst we've not been able to get there.
Just one on the screen right now, the Mad Heads. Have you got a flag there that symbolises that one?
Move the camera there.
There we go. Brilliant.
We've got that actually came from Tooney. That was one of her sayings. So the story behind that is the original Charlton game went down and it got postponed, and was like walking back with the players, and they said, I said to her, safe trip back, and she messaged me saying, oh yeah, safe trip back to all you madheads. And at the time, this is when the bus had just started, and she's like, oh yeah, and it was just funny, and I think ever since then it's just stuck. So we've got a madheads on tour flag that we take to all the away games now in honour of that little saying. So that one is Tooney's little line. That's the story behind that one. So yeah, we take that everywhere. Take over the services with it. Meet up with the travelling fans and some of the families we bump into as well. So yeah, it's a nice little thing to go by.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. And the Marta says Casey and the Icebox.
Yeah.
John Fry, gotta go. Happy Christmas to everyone, mate. We're gonna go shortly soon. Just one more question from everybody. Well, thank you, John. You're always here on the Barmy Army podcast, so we really appreciate your support. Thank you very much, John. Ben, yourself, what's one of your standout moments off the field?
Just the United podcast, mate. Starting to interview the women a bit more, the women's team, and also, like David May now getting involved on the old Twitter and having a bit of a laugh with Amy Turner. I think that's actually pretty decent. Good old Maisie. That's good. That's nice to see. But to be fair, I'm with Nat on this. I think it's missing the match day moments, mate. When you're there and you're in that moment, and there's so much things that we're missing out on because of this COVID and being locked down and that. It's just, I just miss the match day buzz, mate. It's just not the same. But then the content that we're getting from United, especially now, is vastly improved, as Matt said, over the last 6 months. I'd say, it's definitely improved because we're seeing a lot more content now coming out, which is always good to see.
100%, mate. 100%. Yeah. One last question before we go, because I know it's 8:05, and Ben, I know you've got to go to work as well. At what point of 2020 did you all realise that we could actually match these top 3 teams? And do you think we can continue and finish the season as we've started it? So we'll just go around. Me personally, it was the Chelsea game when I was in it once, so I don't want to bore anyone again. But for me, that draw against Chelsea made me realise this team's here for, we can do it. Natalie?
For me, I think, Chelsea. I think we got that point last minute. I think that's it, and we held on for it. But I think Chelsea, combined with Sam going there, because we've lost there before, so I think that was the sort of time when I thought, right, we've erased that kind of hoodoo thing. We can beat other teams below us, so we can definitely finish top 3.
Cool. Matt?
I think for me, we saw glimpses last season, didn't we? I think, first game, obviously, at the Etihad, it was a narrow loss. Arsenal, we didn't lose by much. We beat City in the Cup. Narrowly lost to Chelsea with a horrendous refereeing decision. And I think then, like you've covered more so this season, I think the Chelsea game was a big statement of intent, having, like I said, seen glimpses last year. And even in season 1 in the Conti Cup, we ran Arsenal very close. And I think now the squad has progressed and got better. the Chelsea game, there's a comment there about, the Arsenal, they come back against City again. The City game last year, 2-0 down, I think they might have collapsed. I think, this year, the signings, the mentality, just everything, even our original players that have gone on and got better, and worked on kind of the physical strength and the fitness throughout lockdown. I think we've started now to really, understand that, last year we were very close. This year now we've gone out and we've come back from a 2-0 against City. We've beaten Arsenal. We drew with Chelsea. And let's not hesitate where in those games we could have had more. We could have won them as well. I think had we taken our chances, had we had a fully fit team, I think we've not yet maybe hit our best. But I think there's still more to come. I think January, like I say, February is going to be very interesting for me. Fully fit squad, and I think Chelsea away is going to be a big test, but one that I'm confident we can go there and give them a real good game again.
Ben, yourself?
Like I said earlier, then back-to-back wins away after the Liverpool game down in London against Tottenham and West Ham, but also the Arsenal game, beating Arsenal as well. That's also given me huge belief. And then it's really hammered at home. I think more smashing Bristol this weekend just gone. I think that's just really hammered at home for me. Like, yes, we can, because that was the trick. That was the game that I thought that could be tricky. That they did us last season. But seeing us now swat away the teams that we should be swatting to the side with these, no disrespect to Bristol City, but we should be swatting them to the side without any trouble at all. And we're seeing that actually happen. That's just made my belief go from 100 to 200, mate, 200%. I reckon, barring an absolute injury crisis, we are the team to beat now. I just cannot see it. If we get our heads screwed on and take each game as it comes and make sure we get a positive result out of each game, I think we could go all the way.
I think a few people would agree with you, mate. I really do. Look, come to the end of the show. Obviously, want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody who's watching. We will be back following Thursday. Not too sure exactly what just yet, but we will be back in between Christmas and New Year with a live show. Please keep on this channel to watch all your men's content. The men's team, they're playing a lot over the Christmas and New Year, so there'll be a few shows on there. If you want to keep up the women's content, please go to the Barmy Army. And thank you just for keep on joining in, week out. Socials, Nat, yourself, if people want to find you.
Yeah, at Natalie _17. I've noticed I don't even put the underscore in there. But yeah, Natalie _17. It'll come up, you'll see me. And obviously, I know we said it, Barmy Army MUWFC. Go and check it out for all your content as well. And, just thanks for this channel to keep pushing the women's team. I think, I said it on Monday. I think it was Monday. Or was it Sunday night when talking about the lads, and we talked about the women on there as well, and it's just, I feel like it's getting in people's minds more. It's not just no one's bothered. This is Man United. We're both Man United, and we're both winning. We're both going to be on top. Imagine that, May, both teams trophies. It'll be amazing. So let's keep pushing it.
Yeah, both sides in the title race, absolutely, and I couldn't agree better myself there. Thank you, Nat. Matt, yourself.
Yeah, so my name is also on screen, Matt Crane 15. Like Nat said, get involved with us, with the four of us, with Barmy Army as well. I know currently, whilst it's been Christmas, we've had like a little countdown to Christmas. Final one on Christmas Eve as well. We've got a last video message. We will have, a couple of throwbacks. There's things planned for New Year. So, get involved, get following us. And yeah, it's the fastest growing fan base. We're doing really well on all the socials, which is a credit to everyone, credit to all the fans for getting involved, and just come and get involved. You don't have to agree with us. I'm sure you guys will be first to say we don't all agree on everything, but it's just good for discussion. It promotes the women's team. It promotes channels like this that do a great job in promoting our women's team, promotes Barmy Army, and it just gets people talking. So yeah, come and get involved. Where to find us.
Yep, thank you, Matt. Ben, if people want to find yourself.
It's on the screen as well at Barmy Army MUWFC. I already use Twitter more than anything else, so that's where you can find me. And as the Nat and Matt just said, just hammer the socials, hammer the Barmy Army socials, get yourself on there. They've got their own YouTube channel as well. Get yourself on there, watch the content. Some brilliant content out there at the minute from the Barmy Army. And just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all in the new year.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.